All right, today we're diving into a topic that feels like it's been pulled straight out of science fiction, but it's already changing our world as we speak. We're talking about AI agents. And no, this isn't just about robots. It's about software that can actually think.
So let me just start by asking you this. What if the software on your phone, on your computer, didn't just follow your clicks and commands? What if it could understand a goal and then all by itself figure out every single step to get there? That's the huge idea we're digging into today.
And here's the kicker. This isn't some far-off, futuristic dream. These thinking programs, they're already here, right now, working behind the scenes. They're the little bit of magic in a smart thermostat that learns your daily routine, or they're the chatbot that actually solves your problem instead of just making you wait on hold. They're all around us. And yeah, they are getting smarter every single day.
Okay, so what is an AI agent really? Let's cut through all the jargon and just get right to the core of what this is all about. And here is the key difference you've got to understand. We, the humans, we set the big high-level goal. Something like, hey, resolve this customer's shipping issue. But it's the agent that takes it from there. It decides the best way to do it. It might ask a few questions, look through a database, make some choices, all on its own to get to that finish line.
To really get it, you gotta look at these 5 core traits. First up, it's autonomous. It doesn't need you holding its hand. It's also goal-driven, laser-focused on an objective, kind of like a logistics AI that's obsessed with finding the absolute best delivery route. It's perceptive, which means it's always taking in new information, like a security agent constantly scanning for threats. And this is huge. It's adaptable. If something goes wrong, it changes its plan on the fly. And finally, it's collaborative, able to work with other systems or even with us.
So how in the world does an agent actually think? Well, you can kind of picture its architecture like a recipe. It's got 4 essential ingredients that all come together to create this intelligent behavior.
So what's in this recipe? First, you've got the persona. This is its role, its personality. Is it a friendly, helpful customer service bot, or is it a super formal financial analyst? Second, it needs memory, so it can remember what you've talked about before and learn from it. Third, it has to have tools, the actual things it can do, like search a database or fire off an email. And finally, the most important piece of the puzzle, the thing that brings it all together, the model.
And this is the absolute key. The large language model, the LLM, is basically the agent's brain. It's the engine, the command center that drives every single decision. It uses its crazy powerful reasoning to understand your goal, check its memory for context, and then pick the perfect tool for the job. It's not just understanding words, it's using that understanding to think, to strategize, and to act.
Okay, but here's something you need to know. Not all agents are created equal, not by a long shot. They exist on this whole spectrum of intelligence, from just simple reflexes all the way to complex learning. Let's take a look at how that intelligence actually evolves, starting from the very basics.
So at the most basic level, you have what's called a simple reflex agent. It's all about if this happens, then do that. Super simple. It sees something, it reacts. It has zero memory of what happened even a second ago. But just one step up from that, you get the model-based agent. Now this one's smarter because it keeps an internal model, basically a memory, of how the world works, and that gives its actions some much-needed context. Here's a great way to picture it. A simple thermostat, that's a reflex agent. If the temperature drops below 70, turn on the heat. That's it. But a modern robot vacuum, that's a model-based agent. It builds a little map of your living room in its head and remembers which spots it's already cleaned. See the difference? Its actions are way more intelligent and efficient. Now, the next leap is even more impressive. A goal-based agent is kind of like your GPS. You tell it where you want to go, and it figures out the best way to get there. Cool, right? But a learning agent, now that is a whole different ballgame. It doesn't just find the route. It learns from every single trip it takes, so it gets smarter and better and more efficient over time.
Yeah, that pretty much nails it, right? A logistics bot that finds today's fastest route is goal-based. But a customer service chatbot that actually analyzes its past conversations to figure out why a customer wasn't happy and then changes how it talks to the next person, that's a learning agent. And that ability to get better on your own, that's what makes them so incredibly powerful.
Okay, this all sounds cool in theory, right? But where is this stuff actually making a difference? Let's move from the what to the so what and look at how these agents are being used in the real world right now. And believe me, the applications are already everywhere. In robotics, you've got agents controlling factory arms with a level of precision we've never seen. In our homes, they're managing how we use energy. In healthcare, they can monitor patient data and give doctors a heads up about potential problems. They're making lightning-fast trades in finance, and yeah, they're the ones creating those ridiculously smart opponents in our video games. But it's not all perfect just yet. The upsides are huge, right? Agents are fast, they're consistent, they can work on their own. But the limitations are just as real. They can really struggle in weird, unpredictable situations they weren't trained for. They need a ton of computing power. And there's a serious risk that they could pick up our own biases or do something harmful if their goals aren't set up perfectly.
So this technology isn't just coming, it's already here, and it's evolving at a wild pace. And it's all pointing to a future where these systems aren't just tools we use, but actual partners in our work and in our lives. And that reality, it forces us to ask one last really important question. You know, as we start handing off more and more of these really complex jobs to these thinking programs, the big challenge starts to change. It's not so much can we build them anymore. It's becoming how do we make sure they always work for us and with us, safely, effectively, and in a way that truly helps? That's the defining question we all need to start thinking about as we build this future together.